Hey there, it's Javi here once again. So today we will learn how CyberPrep can help us prepare our security plus and learn. For that, we will make use of the demo that we have already set up in the platform. Remember, if you want to do it by yourself, feel free to pause the video here, give it a try, and then come back and see how it went. So without further ado, I'm firing up my browser, get into cyberprep.io. This right here is the landing page you should be seeing. So you can see here in the top right corner we have the demo button. So now we are ready to start. Okay, so jumping on to the demo, we are presented our first question. So a company experiences data breach, which situation most likely points to an insider threat. So a couple seconds to think. And so if you chose A in this case, you were right. So now why is it A? Well, it's really important to consider when we are talking about an insider threat, so that the threat has to come from within the company. For example, option B, criminals using stolen credentials. Although those credentials are from someone from within the company, criminals are supposed to be from outside. Of course, a criminal could be a hired person, but there's no hint there stating that that's the case. Letters C, in this case, attackers sending phishing emails that trigger employees to installing ransomware happens something similar. Even though its employee is the one that installed those software pieces, well, those attackers come from outside, so that's not really the case of an insider threat. In the array, however, despite being just a misconfiguration, do not get it twisted. Misconfigurations are as threatening as vulnerabilities themselves, and in fact most of them can be as impactful as real attacks. So that's definitely the option we're selecting here. Jumping on to the explanation, the administrator's mistake is an insider threat because it comes from someone with legitimate access, even if it wasn't malicious, exactly as what we have just discussed. Attackers and whatever phishing campaigns are coming from the outside. Now, if we had some doubts regarding this, we can dive into the topic directly from this demo, um, but this we will leave for a later video. We will select the result for the next time. We will continue. Alrighty, so second question. A company is hit by an incident. Which situation best matches a worm outbreak? Again, we will just pause a couple seconds. And so if you chose C, then you're definitely correct. So now, why is C in this case? Well, it's really important to know that we are talking about a worm outbreak, and the main characteristic about worms that we know is that they self-replicate autonomously. They do not really require any user intervention once they are in your network. So options A and B do not really talk about something similar. Option A suggests that it's an infection of a virus because it requires user intervention. And in this case, option B, installing an employee installing a software which looks like one thing but then being another, is well, definitely a Trojan, which disguises itself as a different software. That leaves us with option C. Don't get it twisted. Ransomware, it's just flavor added to the question. Despite the goal of the infection, the main characteristic of a worm is that it self-replicates. Then it can do whatever it does. Getting into the explanation, so when many machines are hit almost at the same time without user interaction, that's a worm. That's definitely a thing. Now again, the other options are discarded. It's as well explained here. And again, if we had more doubts, we could check the theory directly from the notes here, right? So that we can dive deeper into each of the concepts. So third and last question here, an online retailer wants to reduce the risk if their customer database is ever breached. They decide not to store actual credit card numbers, but still need to allow refunds and transaction tracking. Which approach best benefits or best fits, sorry, this situation? Again, a couple more seconds, and we go. So if you chose the C letter, then you are Right. So, why is it letter C in this case? It's really important to pay attention to the fact that we need to allow refunds and transaction tracking. Now, if we didn't need those functions and we just needed to, check card numbers, hashing would be a better solution probably. But it is not suitable when we want to revert operations. Because for reverting, we definitely need the original value. Now we know that hashing is a one-way function, so once we convert the original value to the hash value, we cannot revert that operation. So that leaves hashing out of the equation. Now option A, showing only the last four digits, it's not really data minimization thingy, does not really reduce the risk if our database is ever breached, because showing it does not mean that we are not really storing it. So that really does not make it either. So now that leaves us with letter C, which is a real solution, which is replacing card numbers values with tokens. Those tokens can be safely secured in vaults, protected vaults in this case, and later be retrieved once we need to perform like a revert operation, in this case refunding or tracking transactions. Jumping into the solution, again, hashing is great when you just need to verify something like passwords, but it can bring the original number back, as we just discussed, so refunds wouldn't work. Masking is useful for display or customer service, but like showing the last four digits, but it doesn't really let you process actual payments. Now, tokenization is the best fit in here, as we discussed. So we have completed the demo, so now you have an idea on how CyberPrep can help you learn, how can it structure your learning process, how it works with the different concepts, relating them in different questions, and put your mind to work, to be honest, and how you identify the nuances and differences between each of those concepts. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next one.